Tonight, the new Netflix docuseries Sean Combs' The Reckoning is out and making headlines.
Straight to the head. And I'm tired of going back and forth with y'all, with the lawyers.
That's just not true.
Okay, so.
With never-before-seen footage of...
You realize the burden that puts on my soul for the past year, the weight of that man and his... I will never get up from under it.
Netflix just dropped a documentary about Diddy that has his entire legal team in absolute panic mode. We're talking cease and desist letters sent before the show even aired, calling it shameful, calling it a hit piece. This documentary has footage that nobody was supposed to see. Phone calls where Diddy is losing control with his own lawyers, and the person behind it all is 50 Cent. Before we get into the bombshells, I need to know what you think about this whole situation. Do you believe what's being said? Do you think more people are going to come forward? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments right now and hit that like button and hype button because this story is evolving by the hour.
For arrest.
I'm not a referee. So I'm gonna get off the phone right now. Listen to me. I'm gonna get off the phone right now, and I am gonna let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what, no matter what nobody said. Let's just here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
So, let's talk about what's actually in this Netflix series called Sean Combs' The Reckoning. The documentary dropped this week, and immediately Diddy's legal team went into full damage control. They're calling it a one-sided narrative led by a publicly admitted adversary. That adversary is executive producer 50 Cent, who sat down with NBC News and made it very clear he's not worried about legal action. But here's where it gets interesting. The documentary includes never-before-seen footage of Diddy on phone calls with his legal team, and he is not the calm, controlled mogul you see in public. We're talking about him saying things like, "I'm tired of going back and forth with y'all with the lawyers." In one recording, you can hear him telling his team, "I'm not a referee, so I'm going to get off the phone right now." This is a man who built an empire on control, and here he is unraveling on tape.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Now, you might be wondering how they got this footage. Director Alexandria Stapleton was asked directly by reporters, and she gave the classic journalist response. She's not disclosing her sources. But here's what we know. This footage came from inside Diddy's inner circle. We're talking about people who worked with him, people who saw things behind closed doors. One former staff member said in the documentary, "I began to see the ugliness and the nature of him as a human being." The documentary took over a year to make. It wasn't rushed or thrown together to capitalize on his legal troubles. This was a deliberate, methodical investigation into decades of claims. Here's the thing about Diddy's public image. For decades, he was untouchable. Bad Boy Records, Sean John Clothing, Ciroc Vodka. The man built an empire that made him one of the wealthiest figures in hip-hop history.
Those interviews is with Danity Kane's singer Aubrey O'Day, who in an emotional scene reads an affidavit from a woman saying she walked in on O'Day being assaulted by Combs and another man in 2005.
Now get this. One of the most emotional and explosive moments in the entire documentary involves Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane. If you remember, Danity Kane was the girl group formed on Diddy's reality show Making the Band back in the mid-2000s. The show portrayed him as a tough but fair mentor. But O'Day reveals something completely different.
Me permission tonight to share with everyone that she was very emotional on the phone with me. She was crying, she was trying to catch her breath, trying to get her words out, and she let me know that she's just now sitting down and watching the docuseries. So.
And before we let you go, I have to ask you.
In a scene that's difficult to watch, she reads an affidavit from a witness about a serious incident from 2005. This is not a vague claim. This is a sworn statement from someone who says they were present. O'Day breaks down on camera talking about the burden this has put on her soul. She says, "The weight of that man and his business, I will never get up from under it."
Stapleton says O'Day wrestled with whether to share this on camera.
She didn't take that information and say, and this happened to me. I think that what you see in the film is her struggling to digest did this happen to me or not?
Director Stapleton explained that O'Day wrestled with whether to share this publicly. What you see in the documentary is her processing in real time whether she can handle going public with this information. And ultimately, she decided that staying silent was worse than speaking up. That decision alone shows how much courage it takes to go against someone with Diddy's power and resources.
The docuseries also re-examines the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. in the 90s, raising questions about what Combs knew. Combs has denied all allegations and has never been charged in either death.
And that's not all. The documentary also dives deep into the tragic deaths of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. Now, these cases have been examined for decades, but this time, the filmmakers say they had access to sources and intel that allowed them to tell the story in a way it's never been told before. The big question they're examining is, what did Diddy know about Biggie's passing? He's denied all claims and has never been charged with anything related to either case. Here's where it gets real. The documentary features 2 jurors from federal grand jury proceedings related to Diddy's current charges. 2 completely different backgrounds. One grew up knowing who Sean Combs was, following his career. The other had no idea who this man was before the case. After seeing the evidence, including that hotel surveillance video that went viral involving his ex-girlfriend Cassie, both jurors said the same thing. Based on what they saw, they believe the charges have merit.
Well, it didn't start as a feud. It just started with me being uncomfortable. My invitation to come hang out felt like he was trying to figure out if I was heterosexual or into some other things. So I didn't hang out with him. But it's not a beef because we didn't do anything to each other.
Now let's talk about why 50 Cent is behind this documentary, because this isn't random. When 50 sat down with NBC News, he explained it in a way that actually makes sense. According to 50, it started because he didn't hang out with Diddy. He said Diddy seemed to question his lifestyle choices because of this distance. But 50 was clear. This isn't about personal revenge. Can you believe it? 50 Cent said, if he stayed silent on this, people would assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with what's being alleged. That's a powerful statement. He's saying this is about holding someone accountable, not about settling scores. This is about making sure the culture doesn't protect powerful people just because they're successful. But the real reason this documentary matters right now is timing. Diddy is currently in federal custody awaiting trial on serious charges, including racketeering. He was acquitted of some initial charges, but he's still facing major counts. The prosecutors have built their case using testimony from multiple individuals, financial records, and video evidence. This isn't a case built on rumors.
Combs' legal team says Netflix is relying on stolen footage, even sending a cease and desist to the summer ahead of its release, calling it a shameful hit piece.
What makes this documentary so explosive is the timing. It's not coming out after a trial verdict when everything is settled. It's coming out while Diddy is fighting these charges. His legal team is arguing that the documentary is prejudicing potential jurors. Here's the thing, though, the documentary doesn't just rely on claims. It has people on camera sharing their experiences, documents, and that phone call footage, showing Diddy's temperament when things don't go his way. One of the most damning aspects is how many people from his inner circle are willing to speak now. These aren't random people. These are individuals who worked for Bad Boy Records, people who were on tour with him. The documentary reveals that multiple people tried to speak up over the years and were shut down, either through legal threats, through NDAs, or through the sheer power that Diddy wielded in the industry. Now get this. The surveillance video from that hotel involving Cassie wasn't leaked randomly. Someone held onto that footage for years. Someone knew it existed and waited for the right moment. Cassie herself settled a legal dispute with Diddy very quickly. Within 24 hours of filing, they reached an agreement. At the time, people thought maybe the claims weren't serious. But then that video came out and changed everything. What nobody expected was how that video would open the floodgates. After Cassie spoke up and that footage went public, more people came forward. More claims surfaced. It created a domino effect that led to federal investigators getting involved. That's why this documentary matters so much right now. The filmmakers behind The Reckoning say they wanted to give people a well-rounded perspective. Director Stapleton said they really tried to look underneath the hood. Not just surface-level claims, but understanding the systems that protected him. The NDAS, the settlements, the power dynamics in the music industry that made it nearly impossible for young artists to speak up against a mogul. Think about Diddy Kane for a second. These were young women in their early 20s who won a spot on a reality show. Their dreams were coming true. And then they're in a situation where they're completely dependent on Diddy for their careers. If they speak up, the group disbands. Their record deal disappears. That's the kind of power imbalance we're talking about. The documentary draws parallels to other entertainment industry situations. Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, all individuals who allegedly used their power and influence for decades. What's different about Diddy's case is the sheer scope of his empire. Bad Boy Records, fashion, liquor, television production. His influence touched every corner of pop culture. Here's what's happening right now as we speak. More people are contacting lawyers. More people are considering coming forward with their own stories. The documentary has created a moment where individuals feel like they might actually be believed. Diddy's legal team has responded by doubling down, calling it defamatory and saying it's trial by media. What makes this moment different from past situations involving powerful individuals is the role of social media. The Cassie video went viral instantly. Millions of people saw it with their own eyes. There was no way to spin it, no way to deny what was captured on camera. That created a shift where even his most loyal supporters had to acknowledge something was seriously wrong. So that's where we are right now. Netflix dropped a documentary that Diddy's legal team desperately tried to stop. It features never-before-seen footage, emotional testimony from people in his circle, and brutal honesty from those who worked with him. All while he's in federal custody awaiting trial on serious charges. What do you think happens at that trial? Will more people from his inner circle come forward with evidence? Do you believe this case will result in real accountability? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we'll be covering every development in this case. Hit that like button and hype button to push this video out to more people. See you in the next one.